If you've ever written a pitch and felt like you were sending it into a black hole, you are in the perfect place. I'm Bridget, the co-founder of Visibility on Purpose, where we teach founders how to get media coverage without a 5K a month PR agency. You don't need a huge following. We teach you how to do this yourself. And guess what? It's just like not that challenging. So today we're going to go into how to write a great PR pitch. It's not a press release. It's going to look different. And I want to give you exactly what you need to know to write a really good one that actually gets opened and lands you coverage, which is the ultimate goal here. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly what makes a great PR pitch, why most founders get it wrong, and how to write a one that actually gets noticed. And stick around because I'll show you how I reverse engineer subject lines using the same exact strategy I use to write YouTube titles. So let's jump right in. First, let's go over why PR still works. There are people out there who think PR is outdated, but I really like to think about PR kind of like investing in the stock market. It's something that you do that builds momentum over time. It's not just about sending one pitch. It's not just about landing one piece of coverage. It's about how all of that works together to create this ecosystem of your business. And just like we say here all the time at Visibility on Purpose, PR is like a third party endorsement because it's one thing for you to talk about your business and like love it. Of course you love it. It's your business, but it's a whole other thing for you to be quoted on different platforms. That's the power of podcasts. That's the power of TV interviews. That is the power of getting quoted in major magazines like Forbes, Mind Body Green, Business Insider, anything that lands in your industry to be featured on it, quoted on it, mentioned in it is kind of a big deal. And again, third party endorsement. So, this is something that compounds over time. It quietly builds that trust, credibility, SEO, and really long term brand equity. And I love when you think about it that way, like brand equity. So, you can think of each press feature like a digital asset. The articles, the podcasts, the TV segments, they all live online, they improve your searchability, and they give potential clients a reason to trust you instantly. It's kind of like I used to work at Yelp in New York City, and it's that same idea of other people talking about your business. Now, here's the biggest mistake that founders make when they're writing their own pitches and doing their own PR. Biggest mistake that we see is that founders write pitches like they're applying to a job, or they write pitches like a press release, or they write pitches like they are trying to sell something. And we always say like PR is selling without selling. It's really about introducing yourself as a credible source, as a credible expert, as, hey, I have this story or this idea, like, would you be interested in covering it? That's really the angle that we recommend you take versus, hi, interview me. Like, I'm the coolest on the earth. I have a business. Everyone has a bit. Like, there's lots of businesses out there. That's not newsworthy. And you can go back to all my old videos about this if you need more guidance on what makes you newsworthy. Now, the important thing here is that we don't want to be writing a pitch like we're applying for a job. We don't want to be like leading with our resume, listing every fact about our business, and forgetting to actually hook the reader in. So I'm going to break down exactly what a strong pitch includes. And if you're new to the Visibility on Purpose world, we also do personalized PR strategy plans where we write a subject line, where we write a pitch for you. So if you're like, I do not ever want to do this myself, please let me outsource this to people who've done it. You can just click the link in the description of this video and we'll get you started. So the anatomy of a great pitch, here's what you need. We need a subject line. And this might be one of my favorite tricks ever. I use it all the time in my own business. I actually had a mentor years ago and I was doing a lot of like live video, online video, and this was like 2020, so everyone was online. And I had to create a list of 50 titles of videos to see what would be the best. Like, what are people going to grab onto? What are people going to watch? What are people going to click? Because attention is really, really a hot commodity these days. So you need to have something that's going to grab someone in. So here's what I do whenever I need to come up with a compelling subject line. I do this when I'm writing my YouTube video titles as well. So I go to YouTube and I search for the most viewed videos in my niche. So let's say I'm pitching something about like founder burnout. I'll search for that on YouTube and look what titles are getting traction. So I might find things like what burnout really feels like as a founder. I built a six-figure business and burned out completely. Or like I built a six-figure business, burnout free. So I'm going to take a look at some of those titles that I can then think about repurposing as subject lines or angles. And the same goes for media outlets. I actually recommend that you do this. So go onto Forbes, go onto Entrepreneur, go onto Fast Company, and just look at their headlines. they're giving you their editorial placements on a silver platter. They're like, hey, this is what we talk about. Here's what we title it. That's a really, really great way to do your research and to understand what you can actually make that subject line. So take a look at some of these websites that I have here, some of these searches I'm doing just live, so you can get a sense of like what to actually type in, what works, what doesn't work. And if you wouldn't click it as a headline, they probably won't either. Now, what else should you include in your pitch? You have a subject line. Okay, let's have some, goodwill. Say hi. How are you doing? Hope you're doing great. It might be a good idea to also let them know that you read their content. Like you loved their article on the best pacifiers of 2025, or you loved that episode where they interviewed Bob Schmob talking about the power of calendula salve. These are the things I have on my desk. Calendula salve. So we want that hook. We want that kind of initial thing that we can talk with. We might start with a relevant insight. We might ask a question. If you have a business that offers a different modality or like a newer product on the market, maybe ask a question. Maybe you're going to include a statistic or something that really ties someone in. Like 73% of Americans say they feel invisible work. I help fix that. Versus like, hi, I'm Bridget, blah, blah, blah. I'm a PR expert. So just kind of leading with something that actually hooks someone's attention. And if you think about shorts, if you think about social media, content creators are doing this really well lately because we have such limited time, right? You have like a couple minutes, or not even a couple minutes. You have a couple seconds to hook someone in. So you're likely going to have that hook. So a pitch is going to have a subject line. It's going to have a hook. It's going to have an angle. And what I mean by an angle is tying your story, your concept, your idea, your brand into something timely, relevant, newsworthy. And I always like to say interesting. So you can think about timely, and we've done videos on this as well, so click back to those videos. This might be a trend, a cultural moment, like a holiday, a stat, a season. There's conversations being had in the media and on the news, on TV and on podcasts all the time. So think about what's being talked about. Like what and how can you bring your brand and your concept and your expertise into stuff that's already being talked about? That's going to be a lot easier. So that's your angle. We have Mother's Day coming up. So Mother's Day around the corner, here's why more moms are launching side hustles. Or Mother's Day around the corner, here's a mom who started her own, like making food for moms business. Give them a reason to care right now. Because if not, like that pitch could be for 5 months down the line, which it absolutely could be. But hey, why not try to get it timely right now? Now, what about the value? So we're always thinking about this, and we call this the value intersection here at Visibility and Purpose. We have an entire DIY PR program, so you can also check that out if you need. I'll include the link below there. So what is the value that you're going to give their audience? Because when we think about magazines, when we think about TV news stations, they're thinking about their audience in mind. They're thinking about listeners, they're thinking about viewership, they're thinking about numbers, they're thinking about, will our people care about this? That's kind of what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's usually not personal if they don't accept your pitch. It's just, hey, like, we're not talking about this right now. This doesn't matter to us, honestly, right now. And that's just the truth of the matter. So what will their audience get? Will you teach them something? Will this product change their life? Is it inspiring? Like maybe you have a nonprofit or you did this huge give back campaign in your local area. Like that's a great, great reason to get news coverage. That's amazing. That's inspiring. That's entertaining. Do you challenge the status quo? Are most people going right and you're going left? Okay, so your pitch isn't just about getting you featured. It's about serving their audience, which is a really important reminder. Now, you obviously want to also have a little bio, like a little bit about yourself. We call this a brand positioning statement or a power statement. And again, if you want us just to write this for you, just send us an email, click the link below, we'll do this for you. Well, we want to introduce ourselves. We want to position ourselves and our brand really in the marketplace. So who are you? What do you do? Like some of your titles, your credit line, and how do you differentiate yourself from others? And this is not your life story. Like this is brief. This is a teaser that earns a follow-up, which is that email back to you. And then, make it easy for them to say yes. So we love to include talking points. Hey, I am available for coverage or I'm available for interviews on the following topics. Make it easy for them to say yes. So including those topics, including previous press, like make it so simple. If you're working on a story about millennial burnout or founder wellness, I'd love to contribute as a source. We're basically introducing that, hey, we exist. And that's like the first step. That's super important. So that's kind of the structure of your pitch here. Now, important thing to reminder, this is why most people give up way too soon. Most people send one pitch, they hear nothing back, and they assume PR doesn't work. They're like, nah. But think about how many times you post on social media and you get one like. Think about how many times you post, or write an email and no one responds to you. This is about consistency. And if there's something I've learned in my life, I've been a distance athlete. I work out daily. Like that is my meditation. I'm also a yoga teacher, so I also have that as my practice. All of what this has in common is consistency and like dedication. And devotion. You just keep going. And remember, this is a long game, just like that investment analogy I shared in the beginning of this video. You're building relationships with the editors, with the journalists, with the podcast hosts. And the cool thing is when you build those relationships, it can come back around. I've shared the story that I pitched a story around yoga and wellness. And I pitched it in March of one year and I got an answer back in September. So I was building that relationship. I was letting that writer know, hey, I exist. Hey, I'd be a great, source if you need one for the story that you're writing on like wellness and yoga. And I did get that yoga journal feature, which was really exciting. So it's about consistency, clarity. It's not about perfection all the time, although you want your pitch to be really good. So if you're thinking this is helpful, but I don't really know what to say, I don't know where to start, you can click the link below for our personalized PR strategy plan. We'll like do it for you, which is fun for us. And if you like content like this, if you liked this breakdown, thank you. Please subscribe to the channel. We are on a mission this year to be able to get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this video and we've already passed 1,000, we love you. Thank you. Thanks for supporting us. And we really believe that visibility is a choice. And it does start with one pitch, one message, one email. Thanks so much for being here today. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.